Right then, let's get this show started. Okay, according to timechaincalendar.com, not the official sponsor of this, but it's just an incredibly cool place to go and check out the block height. It's 862559. You're listening to the one and only Art of Freedom, where we get to talk to the artists that are changing the world in this incredible revolution that is uh, Bitcoin art. So, Flo is my co-host, and today both of us are slightly under the weather, but we're still here, so that's good. So, how are you doing besides that, Flo? How's things?
Yeah, no, besides that, I'm very good. I had a lovely, it was the festivities of my country last week. So that was very cool. And we enjoyed I don't know, we celebrated our culture. It was a family time. So it was lovely. How are you doing?
Yeah, really good. Just working hard on things, trying to get as much art done as possible. And this week, fortunately, I think there's quite a lot of Rebel Money art, and I believe some of your art as well is being exhibited in Europe. So there's a an event that's being held. In Calabria somewhere, I believe, that has got some Bitcoin art that is run by Daniel from Polymer Bit, and that's quite exciting. And then also, I can get this up. There's also a Spanish uh, Bitcoin conference as well that's going on at the moment, run by Gorilla BTC. And he's got an event on called, I think it's Watch Out Bitcoin. Just having a look here, and that's on, and some art is being shown there. So it's great. It's great that not only we're getting standalone Bitcoin art galleries that are pop-ups, but also again now it's filtering down to the kind of next level where um, some of the smaller conferences as well are also exhibiting art at the same time and getting in artists as well. So I'd just like to thank obviously both of those people there for exhibiting Bitcoin art, and humbled to have my art there, and it's great to see your art there as well, Flo. So yeah, it's going well. The revolution is continuing. It might not sound in my voice, and I try and just lying in bed at the moment. So, but we're going for it though. We're here. That's what's the important thing. On to the show then. So today, we're the art of freedom. It's not the paintings of freedom. It's not the sculptures of freedom. It's not even the videos of freedom. It's all types of art. And one of the kind of, I suppose, least kind of covered, I guess, in the whole of the art space is actually Bitcoin music. And when Flo and I were discussing like getting guests on, we were like, right, we need to get some Bitcoin musicians on because there's one giant hole there that needs to be represented on the Art of Freedom. So we put our heads together and we contacted this amazing musician, otherwise known as the Bitcoin Mermaid, and she joins us here today. How are you, Bitcoin Mermaid?
Hey everybody! Well, how am I? I am surrounded by boxes and packing like crazy since 3 days. And I thought that I would have already done that and be in Lugano already because I'm moving to Lugano! Yes!
Woo! That's awesome. So what's happening in Lugano then? What's happening over there? Is that just where you want to live, or is that where something happening over there?
Well, I'm half Swiss, so my life is pretty easy here in Switzerland. Fortunately and also unfortunately, everything has a price. But so since Lugano is Bitcoin City or one of the Bitcoin cities we have around the world, well, it just seemed like the Bitcoin Mermaid has to live in the Bitcoin City. It's just like destiny.
That is true. We do need. I think we should have a Bitcoin Mermaid in every Bitcoin city. I think that would be great. Has Lugano? I don't know Lugano that well. I got to be honest, I haven't been there. Is Lugano, has it got a large body of water near it for the mermaid to swim?
Yes, it's got a beautiful lake, and in fact, it all kind of looks a little bit Chinese down there. The mountains, and they're like really pointy and high, and there's loads of them right next to each other, and then this beautiful lake in between. Yeah, it looks a bit Chinese.
Amazing. That's so
Yeah.
good. So like I've been to Copenhagen, and obviously in Copenhagen you got the Little Mermaid statue. So now if you go to Lugano, you're just seeing a real life mermaid, which is even much better than a
Well,
statue, and it's more Bitcoin focused as well.
I mean, did you not see the Lugano Plan B, the song?
I haven't seen it yet, no, but go tell me about it, please.
Well, first of all, did you listen to any of our music yet?
Yes, I have actually.
Awesome.
Yes. So we always make. Well, I always make sure. I got to be honest. I was to say like I was feeling rough today, but I was like, no, we got the guest on. You're putting your time out, so I really appreciate you coming on the show. So then we definitely need to make sure that we do our research as well, and we're definitely going to get into those songs in a bit. So I guess Bitcoin Mermaid. I guess I want to start from the start. Like, I mean, you know, where did you come from? Was it under the sea, or was it? Did you start on land, and then did kind of Bitcoin change you? Please tell me your story, because it's fascinating. I wouldn't say character, but like this kind of whole encompassing thing around your music. So, how did this all kick off, and how did Bitcoin take you where you are today?
Oh man, I love the question. I love the way you made it. And it's a big question. A long answer can be made. So I'm gonna try and keep it short. So I was the mermaid since I'm 19 because of some boyfriend that I had at the time that called me the mermaid. And then that just stuck with me because I always liked things of the sea, like shells and I don't know, seahorses and just anything out of the sea. I always loved it. So I kind of fitted. And then a couple of years ago, like then the mermaid needed a name, so she found her name in the Yoruba culture and the Japanese, like a Japanese goddess that is called Anemo Tsume, and the goddess of the sea of the Yoruba culture that is called Yemoya. So now she's called Yemoya Utsume, which is a combination of the both. And then I went to Lugano's Plan B forum 2 years ago, and then the mermaid Yemoya Utsume became the Bitcoin Mermaid. And then, like, I had a song prepared for Max and Stacy, and somehow I managed to like figure out that there's this conference like a week before, and I took my guitar and I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm even gonna see these guys, but I'll just sneak in some back door or whatever. I really want to play them this song, and I managed to play it to Max, and he he did like a whole show in the Satoshi Gallery and got some, like, somebody was recording it and he was like presenting. It was like really funny, super improvised. We just met like 5 minutes before, and we were like already recording this song. And then at some point after that, we were like talking a little bit, and he said, "Yeah, I think Bitcoin art is really important for Bitcoin itself, for the movement, for the culture." And that stuck with me because I really love Max. I really respect him and Stacy and what they do. So if he thinks something like that, then yeah, I don't know. I've been doing music since 17 years. And then it was like a sudden change of feeling like I'm either going to stop doing music for a while, or I might just do Bitcoin music because it seems like people like it. And then I did another song for him and it just kind of took off. People loved it, and here we are.
Here you are, exactly. Here you are on The Art of Freedom, talking on Twitter's premier Bitcoin art show. Is the only Bitcoin art show. I will also add onto that sentence as well. And we're really, really happy to have you here. That's such a cool story. So where did you hear about Bitcoin for the first time?
In 2015, I bought for the first time. I don't know if it's the first time I heard it, though. Like, I might have heard about it before. But yeah, first time I bought. But just to be clear for everybody here, I might be half Swiss, but I never had money, and I can invest a maximum of $100 a month, and this only since like a year or two. Before that, I mean, it's sad, my investments before that.
Sorry, off you go, Flo.
Okay. No, I just wanted to say, any sat that you can get is like a step in further into freedom. So I don't really think the size of the stack is that important. I know we all want to be like the most free we can be, and as artists, of course, we need money as everybody else, like to survive and all. But for me, it's more about what this can mean, like as a whole in our society. And I wouldn't like it. It doesn't like it doesn't matter where you are from. Like, I'm from South America, you know, everywhere in the world we can get into this revolution. And for me, it's more about like how or when did it click for you to start your creative process, to focus this process into Bitcoin? Was it like when you like what motivated you to do that? For example, that Max song, or from that moment on you started like, yeah, I gotta do music about Bitcoin? Or was it before, like, was something in fiat music that you weren't comfortable about, you know, like how did you live that change?
Also, a very good question. So I think you can be a Bitcoiner also if you don't own Bitcoin. And even if you don't know anything about Bitcoin and you've never even heard about it, because Bitcoin is a combination of well, if we look at it from the philosophical aspect, is a combination of different values and an ethical standard that many people live by naturally, because it's just, in fact, the most logic way to live. So if you are a little bit smart, you will choose that anyway. And when, sorry, 1 second. When I guess what I meant before saying that it's sad how little I invested before, it's maybe more like it's sad how little I understood before. Because if I would have understood more, I would have, like, right now, I mean, there is it's not never like I've been a huge party person or like going out all the time or drinking in bars or anything like that, but since 2 years I do it even less. Like, if I didn't do it before, now I really don't do it. And because I just want to save every penny that I have to buy, even if it's just $1 more or 1 Swiss franc more. And that's because I guess 2 years ago is when it really went like ding in my brain. Like, I understood Bitcoin is not crypto, like, but like, I don't know, like, I understood that before already. I was Bitcoin only since, I don't know, 2017. Like, in the first 2 years, I had like maybe 2 shit coins and maybe like $20 in one and $20 in another one. So it wasn't like I was never into shit coins, but still, there was a moment I understood, okay, it's Bitcoin only. But then it still took a couple of years for me to really understand what that meant, and the impact that that's gonna have, like, on a long run. So I became even more obsessed and extreme in stacking every penny that I can. And then why did I start doing Bitcoin music? Because, well, I saw loads of people that, in my opinion, are the smartest people of the world working on this stuff, like in ways that I could never even imagine or only wish for, as in like coding or I don't know, just starting projects like Mi Primer Bitcoin or things like that, which for me is like, wow, these, like, I respect it so much and it's so beautiful, and these people are doing what they've already done before, and now they just do it for Bitcoin. So I thought, hey, well, if they're doing it, I can do it too. Like with music, why not? Like there is not, or there is like one or two people that do Bitcoin music. I can be the third, and I can do what I do, but now just do it for what I really believe in, and for, like, we're gonna die on this hill, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to ask you more about the Orange Peel Jam project. So I'm reading, like, I have your Geyser page here open, and I want to read like how you started that. It says, "We are the Orange Peel Jam project, a Bitcoin-only copyleft open source ear-to-ear sound music collective. Our goal is to reach hyper-Bitcoinization as fast as possible through freedom of information such as music, lyrics, and video." So I would love to hear more about that. Like, how are you working on this project? What do you mean by it being like open source? And yeah, how is it going in general with the project?
um, so this whole story of open source related to code is very clear to most people, but when you apply this concept to different parts of life, every part of life, it starts to become more complicated, because, well, it's just like we've went from copyleft without a name, as in it just being the law of nature and everybody just lives by it because there is no other option, to suddenly having copyright. And it just basically appeared out of nowhere, and it was there, and what was there before never really had a name, because, well, at that point it was considered theft to perform other people's music, or just in general, yeah, plagiarize basically other people's work. But in reality, if we, as artists, or in general anything, I consider, if we want to advance as civilization, we have to share the greatest knowledge. We have to share the greatest advancements in science and tech and everything, so other people can build on top of that and get even greater. The same goes for music. Like, I want everybody to be able to hear what we produce. And it's not about me. And maybe once I die, nobody will remember me, but maybe some songs, or maybe even all songs, will still remain, and people can still enjoy them and be inspired by them. Like I was inspired by Bob Marley or the Beatles, even though they were long dead. And so copyleft is basically the equivalent of open source in the artistical sense, and I guess also for other things that aren't art, but yeah, going away from code and blueprints and stuff like that. And personally, I think that's like the essence of Bitcoin. There's, personally, I think peer-to-peer, decentralization, and open source are like the three pillars, the holy trinity of Bitcoin. And it's like that defines the philosophy in every level. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. And so I'm very interested in that perspective about so what do you how do you feel about, for example, if someone else is like using your material, like what's usually called the property of intellectual property. So um like, are you do you feel like you're against this idea of intellectual property, like like intellectual, um, let's say intellectual assets or whatever should be like available for everyone?
Yes.
Or Yeah, so for example, if someone else takes your music and use them, I don't know, for a video that they are, but there's a like commercialization, like if they earn money with your music or something like that, like let's put ourselves in the hard situation, because the easy situations we all know it's not going to be a problem, like um but what if I take one of your music videos and I'm using it to earn money with it? How would you feel in that situation?
Well, I mean, it would be cool if I get a little cut of it, but I'm not going to force anybody. I believe that if my song is so good that somebody wants to use it for the video, first of all, I feel kind of honored and proud that it got to that point. But also, I'm happy that my information that I'm trying to share is getting shared even more. And I believe that if everybody would if that would be the case for everybody, and well, basically going back to the laws of nature, then quality would be what makes you stick out, and there is no more um I mean, right now the music industry is a huge mafia. So if you have the right connections and you get the right commercials, and I don't know, you're sponsored by some huge label like Sony or something like that, then you're gonna make it, even though you might not be as good as somebody else who does not have all those connections. But I think that if we would comply more with these laws of nature, then quality would rise and everything else would just stay behind. So I mean, to say that I'm completely against it is maybe a bit extreme, because I think it's also a very complicated subject. And where does it begin and where does it end? Like, where where does my freedom end and yours begin? But still, I mean, if somebody uses my song for any of the purposes that can be imagined, like even like if somebody wants to download all our music and produce vinyl and sell it in their store with their own cover, I mean, so be it. They can even change the name if they want to, because I would most probably never find out. but the point is that other people would find out, and the people that buy the vinyl would eventually find out that this is actually the Orange Pill Jam Project, and then they might feel like, hey, why did I spend this money on somebody that is sharing this music with a different name? This is not okay. I wanna support the real artist, and then they will find their way to me and to what I'm doing. And ultimately, again, it is really not about me, but about the art. At least that's what I would like to believe. The reality is that we all need to eat, and I need money to survive. And of course, I want to make a living out of it. But I just think that we have to find like a different way to, um, like, pres- to how to say, um, yeah, to sell ourselves. Like,
Yeah.
we cannot sell our soul whilst doing so. We have to find the point before that, the point that is still ethical.
Yeah, sorry to put you in that hard like position. It's just that I'm super interested in that kind of discussions, and I agree with you. I feel that maybe this is not something we can apply to everything, and we will have to study like, I don't know, different. I guess for science might not be the best. I have no idea. But in culture, in art, I agree with you. I also I remember, I don't know if I heard it in a podcast or if I read it somewhere. I don't even remember who commented it, but it stuck with me. This idea that if someone else is taking what I did and like making something better because he's reaching more people, or he's like selling it better, or like does a tiny adjustment and it's like a better result, that person is adding value to what I did. It's like getting something in return because he added some value, and it also like pushes me to continue to do something new, to find something different, to be the creative person that I want to be, and just move on. So I totally like understand where you're coming from in that idea of like open source for the creative and cultural things.
Sorry to
uh
interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you. Let's make copyleft a thing. Like, let's bring that. Like, let's talk about it. Let's use that word. It is a thing, and it is a really funny thing because some guys with the open source movement in what was that, in the 80s, 90s, they were upset with copyleft, and some guy came up with this joke. It was a joke basically in the beginning, like copyleft, all wrongs reserved. That was the joke. But then it really became a thing, and like they wrote like serious rules to this copyleft. So it is really, and it's really funny. So let's make that a thing.
yeah, agree. I had never heard that before, copyleft, so I love it. And I love it's like when we talk about the hodl and all those memes, all those jokes that start from like
Yeah,
very organically situations,
yeah, yeah.
and they have meaning. So okay, I'll start using that one. Copyleft.
Yeah, and do
uh,
your homework on it because it's really, really funny. Like, I have a really bad memory, so I have to read things 20 times to really remember. But I remember that it was funny when I read it.
yeah. Okay, I'll say I'll search it. So what? First, before I ask more questions, anyone who is listening, remember you can join in if you wanna like ask questions or contribute to the conversation. Please do. And about the Orange Peel Jam, so I see that you have like a whole album that I was able to hear because I was there in Lugano last year. So it was very, very fun. So something that caught my attention is that you were like using different languages. It's not every song in English. I remember you having in Spanish also.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. I love that we're like reaching more people, and but also what really made me smile it was that it has this festivity style. I don't know how to call it, but it's like very, very joyful music, very like kind of like party music, um music you can play to celebrate something. Are you like, is like there a goal for the album, or how do you came up with the like the style of the songs? Are you planning on continuing that road, or yeah, what can you tell us about it?
Well, I don't know if you heard the two new songs that we produced this year. This year we haven't been very productive, but um, yeah. So I mean, for me, I love experimenting with everything in life. So music, obviously, as well. And there is like the red thread that we're following is traditional types of music mixed with modern beats and effects. So the past combined with the future, creating the present. And it has to be danceable. Not only danceable, but it has to, like, you have to want to dance. Like, when you hear it, you just, your body just can't sit still. Like, you have to dance. And the message. So the combination of that is basically the message. The message is the message.
Very cool. Yeah, I did absolutely felt that like a danceable um vibe that it has. And I really like that because, well, I don't know a lot of about music to be honest, but I really like when things like communicate and in different ways, and also are like an open invitation for people to get inspired and to express themselves too. And that's something that I got from the experience of hearing you guys. Well, you were performing live, so it was also like super fun to be there to witness the show. um but I think it's smart, yeah, to be yeah, to invite to leave this door like open for people to express themselves, to celebrate Bitcoin, kind of. That's what I felt.
Yeah, and that's exactly. In fact, okay, maybe what I told you before is like the what I say to the public if they ask me, but like my inside motivation was really what I said before. Now all these greatest minds in the world, not just in Bitcoin, but like in the world, like I don't know, Samsung Mao designing the volcano bonds and standing on stage with Nayib Bukele, like before Bitcoin was even legal tender, like that's just fucking crazy. Like Samsung, I love Samsung, or Giacomo Zucco and his numeral endless startups that he has. Like I don't know how many startups that guy has, but I'm sure like 50 or so, and they all like really cool. And I just really, really, really love these people, like what they're doing. I listen to them, and they give me this hope for humanity. Like we're not lost. There is great people out there. There, and I just wanted to do something to like show my gratitude to the Bitcoin space and to all the hard work that people and to Satoshi Nakamoto and the endless hours. I'm sure he must have spent years studying and doing homework and coding. Most probably his friends thought that he's crazy and he's wasting his time, and he still kept going and he did it. And there's so many people out there that are doing everything they can, and they're gonna fucking die on this hill. And I just like wanted to do something for them, like in exchange, like for when the conference is over, for when the hard work is over, you can like chill out and listen to some Bitcoin music and just like have fun and yeah, enjoy that your life.
And I also see like something very important in that. Sorry, Rebel, I cut you off.
No, that's fine, Flo. You keep going.
Okay, no. I lost my track of thought. Sorry. Yeah. I think it's super important. What I was about to say is that in this living the experience and like the importance of having fun, the importance of enjoying, of celebrating these great minds, it's also very special how we connect with each other. I have had so many amazing experiences with other Bitcoiners on those moments. Maybe some more than when you're like in the formal structure of the conference, like sitting down on your seat, like hearing. It's very important too, but you do not connect there. It's like the human side, I feel, is
Yeah,
what's.
and let's be honest, Flo, we've all heard that stuff before, right? It's not like they're telling us anything new. So the truth is we go to conferences to party and like connect with people on a more personal level. And yeah, maybe there's one talk or two that you still didn't hear and you're really interested and you go to listen. But I mean, like when I went to El Salvador, I didn't even listen to one talk. I didn't have time, but I also just didn't want to. I was like having so much fun otherwise, and with all the like nervous feelings of having the concert and everything. But yeah, so I think a lot of people like maybe like for newbies, fucking awesome because they get to meet some people that tell them which conference, which podcasts they need to listen to, and they can see live for the first time some person like Giacomo Zucco talking. I mean, that's just life changing. If you hear Giacomo on the stage, I'm sure nobody comes out of that the same as they walked into. So for newbies, it's definitely amazing. But for like toxic maximalists, they just want to like hang out and get to know people and like connect on a more personal level. At least that's my opinion. I don't know.
I agree
No,
with you
yeah.
on. I agree with you on that. That's what I go to the conferences for. It's. I think you can listen to a certain amount of Bitcoin talks, and yes, there's still things that you can learn, and obviously learning all the time in Bitcoin about new things. But it does reach a point where you just want to go there and just have a good time, with your friends and meet awesome people and get stuck into the culture. And if it did feel a bit like in kind of, I can only speak for Nashville because that was the last one I was at. It felt more like a festival, I think, rather than a conference, if that makes sense. And meeting cool people, people like yourself there. That's almost the bit that, these people that say, oh, you can get all this information online. Having that human connection is extremely important in the Bitcoin space.
And not talking about Bitcoin, because that's the most amazing thing about Bitcoin conferences, that I end up talking the least about Bitcoin than I do in my usual day. Because
I agree. Because
yeah, right?
because people know exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
right. You don't even need to mention it. You can just work on the second, third, fourth layer and beyond. Yeah.
I agree. It's like, and also, I don't know if you found this as well, is that when you kind of meet someone, just a randomer in the street, that it takes ages for you to kind of walk, to talk and see if you get to know them. With Bitcoin, it feels like it's immediately. I'll give an example from the weekend. So I was doing a park run and I think you probably got them in Switzerland as well, actually, and in Europe. But basically, these people come along and you run for 5K on the weekend on a Saturday morning. And I was at a park run in Bristol, and I was doing my run, and I had my Bitcoin runners T-shirt on, and I'm not a runner, by the way. I'm just going to say I try my best. The girl, basically my girlfriend, she goes off and runs, and then I try desperately to catch up to her, but I'm just red faced like an onion. So about three-quarters of the way through this lap, on the way back, I was just running back, and then this guy came up to me and said, "Oh, you're the Bitcoin runner." I was like, oh, "All right," but by this time I could barely speak, so because I was just so exhausted. But we started a conversation on the last bit of lap, and he was encouraging me to, finish the race, etc. It was a bizarre experience. And then afterwards, we just talked as if we'd known each other for months. So having that experience and that Bitcoin level, as you say, then you bypass level one, if you want to look at it like that, and you're on to level 2, 3, 4. And I think that's highly a point that's largely missed by people. But that is awesome. And then that's where music and culture comes in then as well, so you can actually celebrate these things that you're both experiencing. Sorry, I talked a lot there,
No,
Mermaid.
no, that was
Apologies.
awesome. Just one question, I didn't get it. So the guy that you saw running, he was a Bitcoiner too.
He was part of the
Awesome.
Bitcoin runners. This it's like it's a Bitcoin. They do lots of fundraising for Hal Finney and ALS research.
Yeah.
And at every conference, I say every conference, not every conference, but most of the major conferences, they do a 5K run, and it's an
Yeah.
international kind of organization.
I
And yeah,
don't know who, but somebody of these Bitcoin runners, I don't know if the guy who created it or just somebody made a video of the El Salvador conference that was after adopting Bitcoin, the one right after, a couple of months after.
yeah.
That there was a Bitcoin runners meetup, and they did a video and they used Toxic Maximalist as a backtrack.
Ah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
yeah, it was really funny. Yeah.
Because you could extend this. I know it sounds crazy, like you could have Bitcoin exercise classes. I know this is crazy, going a bit further perhaps, but just playing Bitcoin music, and and having it's what I'm trying to say is it's really nice to have Bitcoin culture in your everyday life, and through art, etc. That's a great way of doing it. And then of course then you can introduce people much easier to that than if it's, say, right, read this book, read this book, read
Yeah,
this book.
I don't know. I don't know about that, because of what I said to Flo before. My inner purpose behind this all is this gratefulness towards OG toxic maximalists, and I think maybe sometimes people that are not Bitcoiners, they might hear my music and they think it's preachy. Yeah, so I don't know about that because as a Bitcoiner, you understand all the memes and you can relate to it, right? But yeah, maybe somebody else feels it's a bit too offensive.
I don't know. I agree with you on that certain point. And do you know what? Me and Flo have actually, and some artists that we've had on here have actually been trying to tackle this. And many minds that are much more creative and thought about this a lot more is obviously how do you orange people better, people better, and do where do you pitch your message? At what point is it? Do you start talking about, as you say, the 58K memes and all that stuff, or and El Salvador and yellow and all those memes. But I think it's kind of like I think we've got a real opportunity, like as Bitcoin artists, as musicians, as painters, as videographers, or whatever it might be. Um, because we've been down the rabbit hole, a lot of us for quite a long time now. We need to almost not come out of the rabbit hole, but peek out of the entrance of the rabbit hole. I'm going to say here, and say, come on down here. The water's warm. It's and have that
It's
kind
like
of
it's
yeah.
like that meme that says, "Tell me you're a Bitcoiner without telling me you're a Bitcoiner," right?
Exactly. I think we need to kind of start making art that is on the cusp. So talks about the underlying kind of principles of Bitcoin. So the ones that you talked about, the copy left,
Yeah,
this sense of freedom, but
you know, it's really funny we're talking about this because that's the way I started. Like the dollar apocalypse doesn't mention Bitcoin, not even once, but it mentions every word that comes after Bitcoin. So literally, like if you haven't heard the dollar apocalypse, you gotta listen to the dollar apocalypse because it's the beginning of the Orange Pill Jam project, and it's like, yeah, that's why the Orange Pill Jam project exists, and it's yeah, it's the mother of all of the other songs, and yeah. So when I did that, I specifically didn't want to mention Bitcoin because in fact, the dollar apocalypse is Bitcoin itself talking. So I tried to get into the spirit of Bitcoin and like if I was Bitcoin, what would I say to the world? What would I express and what are my thoughts? And I don't need to say I'm Bitcoin because everybody can see it because I'm Bitcoin, right? It's like a big sign, but yeah, so that's how it started, and then I wrote Toxic Maximalist, which is the opposite, which is like totally embracing Bitcoin, totally like being like, fuck yeah, this is my shit. If you don't get it, I don't have time to explain it. So yeah, now recently a friend asked me, but you do have songs that do not mention Bitcoin, right? Because the latest, like one of the two songs that we released this year is like it's like the Bitcoin song, right? It's called Plant B Network. So it's for Giacomo Zucco and the Plant B Network, which I have recently participated. I did the summer, the Plant B Biz school, summer school, a couple of months ago. So now I'm a certified Bitcoiner. I'm a professional Bitcoiner. Like I have a diploma that says Yemoya Otsume, the Bitcoin Mermaid, Lucia Diaz is a professional Bitcoiner. Like yeah, it's hanging on my wall. Um, and so this song was created in El Salvador at the jam session with Giacomo on stage. I stole the mic of him. I was drunk on tequila and I didn't really notice until I saw the video of me stealing the mic of him. And then I was like, oh shit, damn, I'm such a bad mermaid. Bad mermaid. So I was like, okay, I'm going to dedicate this song to him and to his amazing project, the Plan B Network. If you haven't heard of it, check it out. It's the fucking shit. You got like loads of free courses on the webpage, and I love it. I love everything he does. So yeah, it's not a surprise. But so anyway, the song it says, I wanna be Bitcoin, Bitcoin. So give me be Bitcoin. Anyway, you get it. It just has a lot of Bitcoins in there. So a friend asked me, "Do you also have songs without Bitcoin?" And I said, "Yeah, a couple." And I realized that my original idea was to make a couple of more Bitcoin songs that do not talk of Bitcoin directly. So it's funny you said that. Sorry, I'm ranting off here. I'm really enjoying the talk with you guys. Like as always, Bitcoiners know what to say.
No, it's amazing. I love when you go like telling us the whole story because we get the feeling and know to get to know you better. I think going a little back to what you guys were talking just now. I think just by existing, like the art, the Bitcoiner art, Bitcoiner music, or everything, like just by being here in the world, even if it's like super propagandistic or not, it has purpose. It fulfills something because I have had this reaction. I have seen it so many times when people are like, "You can do art about Bitcoin," and they
Yeah,
are like so strange to them, and that already they haven't even seen the art or heard the music, but that question already opens a door in their mind where they are starting to ask themselves like, what is this thing? Like, how can you do music or art or whatever about money? So what is different about this money? Because you are not gonna do
well,
well.
actually, somebody had this like reaction recently. Like, yeah, but that's what they did with the dollar as well. Like, people did songs about it and painted pictures and whatever. So they like perceived it from the angle as in being, let's keep it simple here, but like being possessed by the devil or something like that. So that was the first time I had that reaction, and and I was like, okay, so you're not hearing at all when I'm talking about the difference between Bitcoin and the dollar, and you're just saying, oh, people sang songs about the dollar as well. It was like I was totally shocked. I didn't know how to react. I didn't know what to say. It was like, whoa, okay, shit, yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, probably there is, but I don't think that when, yeah, when you go deeper and you see dollar displayed in art or in music, I think it's more about people being like I don't know, in my mind I go it's straight to like these maybe rap songs where they want to tell you how much they own,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they are like the best ones because they have all these like gold chains and but it's never
yeah,
it doesn't really speak about what is the dollar, or it doesn't put it in a great place. It's just like about themselves. um but
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
totally. Like from a Bitcoiner's perspective, I can see that difference, but from like a normie's perspective, let's call it normie just for the lack of a better word, um, I can also understand what they see, because it's like a person that thinks like that, they don't even take like 30 seconds to make a judgment. They will not listen to what you're really saying. They hear the word Bitcoin and that's it, they're out. Like there is no chance you're not getting them back. So that's what I was saying before. Now, like making a song that doesn't, like, I've seen your art, Flo Montoya, Florencia, y me gusta mucho, pues. Tienes un estilo ahí, ¿no? Pues que le das. You like managed to talk about, you tell me you're a Bitcoiner without telling me you're a Bitcoiner. You managed to do that so many times, and I think that's the way we approach normies, non-Bitcoiners. And then when we mention Bitcoin, that's for Bitcoiners, for toxic maximalists, for people who appreciate the sarcasm.
You are listening to The Art of Freedom here on this Monday, and joining us is Bitcoin Mermaid, and we're waxing lyrical, literally in that sense, around music and trying to spread the message. We're heading into the last kind of five minutes or so. If anyone would like to contribute to the discussion, Bitcoin,
Please
sorry.
do.
Yes. Well, this is the art of freedom. The art of freedom. You know, we encourage all artists, and there are quite a few artists in the room as well, and anyone outside as well, just to interact, because that's how we grow, and also spread the message around as well. I'm just wondering, Bitcoin Mermaid, did I read right that you're going to be heading to Amsterdam, and is there going to be some kind
Yes.
of performance?
No, there will not be performance. I mean, I will most probably take my guitarra or some instrument because I cannot like breathe if I don't have one with me. But there is nothing official. It's like I won a contest. Like some company was like giving away some tickets for free, and I won. Well, at least like the Orange Pill Jam Project won, and they are sending the Bitcoin Mermaid. Guess why? Because I am the founder, and I decide, and I'm the Bitcoin Mermaid, and I decide the Bitcoin Mermaid is going. So there you go. That's how it's going.
Well, you know, I wouldn't want to mess with the Bitcoin Mermaid either. You know, by the sounds of it, the boss of the Orange Jam project. So you are going to definitely go there, and you're going to make some noise. Of what noise yet? We're not sure.
I'm gonna go there with my little suitcase with my merch, like my album and shit, and I'm gonna like I don't know, maybe I'll even buy like a boombox, one of those things you can like Bluetooth to your phone or something like that, and just like stand at the gate and like I don't know, burn the hell out of that place.
Definitely do it. I'll be there, and I'll
That's
jam.
so cool.
And I could, I was in some bands back in the day. I can start a little rave or a mosh pit out the front of Bitcoin Amsterdam. We could definitely do that. Yeah, and yeah, but even if that doesn't happen, it'd be wonderful to meet up and see you
Yeah.
in person as well. So
How should I call you? Rebel art, rebel.
just rebels, fine.
Rebel, the rebel man, the Bitcoin rebel.
That's what yes, that's what my mother calls me. But you can call me wherever you like, so that's fine.
No, I like what your mother calls you. Rebel is fine.
There we go.
Let me say two things before I forget. So one, I can stay like a little longer, like let's say 10 minutes, maybe even 15 minutes long. That's fine. And also going back to what you said like half an hour ago, you mentioned that Bitcoin 24 in Nashville was more like a festival, right? And well,
I did, yes, yeah.
that's one of my big ideas. I have loads of ideas. I'm an artist. Ideas fly, come and go like by the minute. But this one sticked, and it is Bitcoin festivals. So like, I don't know if you've ever heard like of rainbow gatherings. Rainbow gatherings is the thing that like these hippies organize. I come from a hippie village in South Spain. I was born there in a ruin. Side comment. But anyway, so these hippies, they create these rainbow gatherings, and they are every month in a different place, and once a year you have like a European or like an American or South American gathering, and there's like thousands of these hippies that just meet in random places and have these rainbow gatherings. So I thought we could do like the same thing with Bitcoin gatherings, and every year it's in a different place. And I guess in the beginning you just have one every year or every 6 months, maybe the second year, and then so on. At some point, you just have loads of these Bitcoin festivals, And in a Bitcoin festival, you also have the conference vibe. You also have the Max Kaiser smashing some chairs and burning some dollars and just like, you know, telling you some really smart stuff which you do not really understand, but it sounds real. And then you also have Bitcoin art, Bitcoin gallery, Bitcoin music, Bitcoin party as a main event with some like, yeah, side talks and side workshops and stuff like that. But basically, yeah, more like a Bitcoin festival instead of a Bitcoin conference. So Bitcoin festivals, let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah, I think most conferences are heading that way. If you look around, more and more they're like realizing how important it is, the human side of all of this, and that people really want to connect and do networking and get to know each other and start some projects with other Bitcoiners, and I think it's totally going up that direction, and I love it. I really like it.
Mermaids, we're almost running out of time, sadly, on here for the night. But what I do want to make sure is that, first of all, what are you planning to do next, other than Amsterdam, in terms of your music and your Orange Pill app? And then, secondly, we'll start with that, and then also, then I suppose how people can get in touch with you and what and on those projects as well.
So yeah, I mean, nobody asked any questions, but please, like, yeah, join and ask some questions if you want to, or at least tell us what your favorite Orange Pill Jam project song is or something. It would be awesome to know. We really need some feedback. We really need some, like, we need to see that the community engages, because to be honest, I'm very, very at my end of how to put it. We're not making enough money, and I need to live and survive, and we seem to be too expensive for everybody. And this makes me think that I should raise the price even higher, bitches. Like, what the fuck? Now our price is 21,000 Swiss francs, and if you want us, you pay, and if not, I'm sorry, but damn it. I don't know. I still have to think about that, but it seems like a possible direction that I'm going to be taking. Since, and I'm also thinking about shutting down the collective and making it I don't know, something else. I still don't know, but just not a collective, because some people seem to have the wrong idea about what a collective is, and it's just annoying. Um, what comes for the future? Well, I really don't know. For now, the last 2 years, the Orange Pill Jam project has been running on momentum, and I have never really added fuel. Like, I do not have a lot of fuel in general. Like, my life is not easy, put it that way. And then things like this happen, like this space organized, or at least Flo Montoya, she asked me. So yeah, thank you very much, Flo. It's really sweet, and I really, really appreciate that you thought of me and of our music. So amazing. And then things like this happen, and somehow, and then I go to a conference, or I win a ticket or a jumper, and I get like 200 likes for sharing a photo of me with my jumper, whatever. Things happen, and there's this constant momentum, and I really never really know what is gonna happen in the future, or if this project is going anywhere. To be honest, like it, I really, really, really love what we're doing. I've been doing music for 17 years. This is the first time that I managed to write songs where I cannot say which one is my favorite. Like, I all love them equally. It's like a different love, like with different people. You have different types of love, but the amount is somehow equally. It's whenever I think about it, I just get lost in the fact that we've managed to. I mean, my producer, he is amazing. Like, I come to the studio and I say, I want to do a mix of calypso from Trinidad mixed with like this modern trap, and bam, we do it. Or I don't know, I come like saying I want to mix this like traditional Celtic melody with some hardcore drum and bass, and bam, he just does it. He like gets what I'm trying to say, like where I'm going, what I have in my head, because I only write the harmonies, the chord progression, and the melody to the lyrics themselves. But everything else, even the structure, sometimes we change some part around. We put it in the beginning where it was in the end, and he just, yeah, he just gets it. So I'm really really happy about the music that we're doing. But sometimes it feels like the community is not really feeling it that much. So I wonder, yeah, I wonder how long it will keep on having momentum. But usually every time I felt like this, something happens and bam, it kicks off again. So
Yeah, I hope there there is public, and there is love in the community, and there is people who want to support these projects. It's about getting them to know you and finding your crew. You know, if you have a good team, if you're happy with your producer, I think you have already found the hardest
yeah,
things to find.
and
And
just
it's
to add to what you're saying right now, if anybody's up for it, we are looking for a band manager, a project manager, just some type of manager that tells us what to do and when to do it. And we are looking for a social media wizard, social media genius, genie that wants to kind of just do a little bit. All of that, both of those jobs would not require 100% investment, maximum a 10%, if even. So yeah, anybody who wants to collaborate, if we make money at some point, we are happy to pay people. But for now, it's just a copyleft, love for Bitcoin, free participation.
Okay, so before we go, I just want to say the song of yours that stuck in our heads, because I was in Lugano with my sister and my mom, and the next morning we were like the whole day singing like we are toxic
Oh, but that's
maximalists,
the one.
and we still like remember them, and we felt super happy to have a toxic maxi song and not just be insulted by it, by being maximalist. So that was super fun. And I want to thank you so much for being here with us today, for all your time, and for like letting us know, get to know you better and the project you're doing. And you know, guys, whoever is listening, if you want to jump in the project, if you want to help with social media or managing, please do contact the Bitcoin Mermaid. And Revel, do you wanna like share us with us some last
We
thoughts
cannot
before
hear
we
you.
close the?
Florencia, ¿dónde se fue?
You lost me. Can you hear
Yes,
me
now,
now?
yes.
Yeah, I can hear you, Flo. Just to say thank you very much, Mermaid, for being on. It's an absolute pleasure meeting you. Talking to you this evening. Hopefully, we can meet up maybe in Amsterdam. And then just to say, yeah, next week we're back with, I believe, another Bitcoin musician as well. We've got Sophie on the show, so we look forward to seeing you all same time next week, every Monday here on Spaces, to learn about the stories behind the artists. Now go out and make something awesome and have a great creative week.
Hey,
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Rebel and Florencia, do you want to end with a song? Should I play you?
Yeah,
I like a
do it.
new song that still hasn't been released, so it's kind of like yeah, you gotta have a little pre-taste of what is coming. I
Let's
am
do it.
really,
Let's
Let's
do it.
go.
yes. Okay, let's see. I hope that you can hear it well, and there you go. got my own bank, by time of electricity. I got my keys in my brain, my wallet in cyberspace. I don't need you and I don't need to trust you. I've got proof of work with difficulty adjustment. Intrinsic value based on finite supply, richer than gold, so nobody has to die mining gold down in the mines. No, not machines to detect and computers. We've got hash-based chains to secure the network and its users. This is pure mathematics, the highest peak of evolution, an unstoppable force applying game theory at its finest. Permissionless qualities carving the path of least resistance, using stranded power, lowering prices, preventing crisis, bringing financial freedom with no more borders for all the people. Tools, information, knowledge, and understanding. Bitcoin is the only truly decentralized money that exists. There's only one, that's why there is no second best. 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 No me digas lo que tengo que hacer. Yo soy inconquistable, inmutable, indomable. A mí no me puedes controlar, no me puedes hacer callar. Te digo lo que pienso y te lo repito una vez más. No me digas lo que tengo que hacer. Yo soy inconquistable, indomable, indomable. A mí no me puedes controlar, no me puedes hacer callar. Te digo lo que pienso y te lo repito una vez más. Now the second verse is coming. I got my own bank, back by time and electricity. I got my keys in my brain, my wallet in cyberspace. I don't need you and I don't need to trust you. I've got proof of work with difficulty adjustment. Open source code, a public ledger, and running nodes confirming blocks, enforcing rules, ensuring truth. A peer-to-peer uncensorable transaction system using cryptography to ensure privacy, not secrecy, protection against attacks from scammers and governments. This is the foundation to build a free and happy society. We only need hard money. More scarcity creates more quality. Renewable energy, ethical and discipline and liberty. Inflation model for 5 years or more. You'll feel how slowly low time preference starts to kick in, changing the way you think and making you realize you can't change Bitcoin. That's why Bitcoin will change you. You don't change Bitcoin. Bitcoin changes you. You can't change Bitcoin. That's why Bitcoin will change you. You don't change Bitcoin. Bitcoin changes you. Bitcoin changes you. No me digas lo que tengo que hacer. Yo soy inconquistable, inmutable, indomable. A mí no me puedes controlar, no me puedes hacer callar. Te digo lo que pienso y te lo repito una vez más. No me digas lo que tengo que hacer. ¡Yaman!
Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you so much.
the Bitcoin Mermaid. Thank you all and have a wonderful week.
Thank you for having me. Have a good evening
So
and
much.
week and everything. See you soon.
Bye bye.